how do you navigate around having a conversation with a depressed family member or a friend?
The way to talk to a person, a relative, a friend, is to start with relationship. Leave it at that.
How does childhood trauma play into an adult's life?
There's something we call CC, childhood charity. The mother is the symbol of love, care, and concern. I want you to do your homework. That's a command. I love you, my son, my daughter. Men rarely balance the two.
You have to begin by acknowledging that this is something I am handling.
In such a world where there are so many things going on, people are depressed, people are going through financial issues, breakups, all these things, you can use social media for your advantage.
We live in a digital world. I don't know if you guys have seen or have come across a live, maybe on Instagram or on TikTok, where someone is, has gone ballistic and is pouring. Guy, what's happening to me today? So they are pouring out their hearts and, all information out there, on social media. So how do we navigate around a digital world when you're depressed, Lisa?
I think one thing I'd love to say is technology is a gift. Technology is a gift, but in this new generation, it has been really misused, and we are using it for the wrong purposes. Sahi ukiingia pale TikTok, a lot of videos ni za watu wana kudade, sindio? But really, well, I know they're there, but really utapata people giving, or rather, ata wewe when you're getting into social media, the first thing you want to see is, nani, bahati, wamefika wapi, kina nani, all those people. But really, you'd go on social media and then search. Unasikia hadi mshaanza kusema waliachana sijui, all those stories, So, very rarely you go into social media to actually learn, and not just learn, but learn about mental health issues, right? Rarely. The past 1 week, nani ameingia social media kuangalia any update on mental health, depression? Oh, really? Nice. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. So, social media is a gift, and in such a world where there are so many things going on, people are depressed, people are going through financial issues, breakups, all these things, you can use social media for your advantage. Yeah? You can use, because as I said, social media is a gift. You can use it to actually learn how to navigate your situation. Unaweza ingia pale social media, you can, the first thing you can do is look for hobbies. Right now we have so many things we can do. I have John who, what do you do? Technology. What? Software engineer. There's that thing you call it. What do you call it? Coding. Yeah, you can learn your advantage. And when you use social media or other technology to do things that better you as a person, and also not just better you mentally, but even better you financially, kama coding and such things, yeah? So first you can use or other technology to better yourself, better your mind by learning new hobbies, by learning new skills, by doing new things, and yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa. I know we have friends and we have family, and sometimes it's not you necessarily who's going through a mental health challenge. And to be quite honest, these conversations are not like the easiest to have, right? So you're wondering how to approach this person, how to start this conversation with a depressed person without making them feel some type of way, right? Yes, so Dr. Wango, how do you navigate around having a conversation with a depressed family member or a friend who's going through maybe just any mental health challenge without making them feel some type of way?
Oh, perfect. That's a very nice one. And if you allow me, I can start from where Elisa said. I like the way she puts it. The social media is perfect. It's appropriate. It has both negative and positive. And that's where you can start with yourself. When you go to sleep at 3 or 4 at night, and you are going to wake up at 5:30 to go to work, you look weary, you look sleepy. You don't need them to tell you. You should already be knowing it. Because when you sleep for 1.5 hours for 7 days, the body switches off on its own. Excuse me, something is not going right here. So those are the signs. Start with yourself. Start with yourself. Now, what about you noticing your sister, your friend doing the same thing? When you notice these red flags, it's time you told them, excuse me, this relationship that you're having. By the way, quickly, let me do like Elisa. Who knows the most emotional things in life? Which are the most emotional things in life? It's culture. Culture is very emotional. Try to talk to anybody about culture. The second one is religion. Oh my God. The third one is politics. And the fourth is a person in love. Football is in culture. It's a person in love.
Arsenal.
Yes. Yes. So the worst thing is, when people are in that situation, they don't want to discuss with you. So you have to be very careful. Excuse me, Liz. I don't know what to tell you, but I've noticed you've changed slightly nowadays. Something seems to be going wrong. Look at your room. Look at your life. Look at your work. Something does not seem to be going right. Is it okay so that you can discuss it with me or somebody else? I believe you should seek for help where you think you can best get it. And that's why I like your community. If you don't want to talk to me, talk to Lisa. If you don't want, talk to whoever is closest to you. Talk to your mom. Talk to your dad. By the way, there are very many toxic people have come to accept, including parents and colleagues. Don't talk to them. Talk to the person you think can assist. I was suggesting you talk to Jasmine why you are not coming to work. I was suggesting, can you talk to them? And that is the way to get help. Let us not look for that big thing up there. Let's look for the smallest things. Let's tell this person, I think you're not doing very well. I think you've not been attending college. Have you noticed? I think you are going out too often. I think this drinking of yours is uncontrolled. Let us see where the person is not doing well. I think this relationship, the other day, and a simple one, let me add with that one. This relationship that you have with this boyfriend or this girlfriend of yours has been going for 2 years. How come this guy has never taken you to his parents? I'm only asking. 2 years. 2 years. 2. Even my brother there is breaking down. He doesn't want to hear 2 years. Yeah. How come? How come? And then let me try one more. Let me try one. I fight with the girls. Most of the girls, including the university, who call me, they call me and tell me, I met this guy, Patrick, and we've been dating for 3 weeks, and I think I'm pregnant. Surely. Surely. Yeah, that was fast. Thank you, Jasmine. Start from there. Don't you tell this person, excuse me, you are dating, yes, but don't you think you're moving too fast? Can you go slowly? Do you even know his other name?
In fact, the question, Doctor, is it Patrick's? Yes. Is it Patrick's? The pregnancy, is it Patrick's? Because... Well,
in fact, with one of the ladies, by the way, she didn't even know the guy's other name. And the guy was taking her to Moja. And he was taking her to the cousin's house. Yeah. And then she's asking me whether I can look for the guy and talk to him because she's pregnant. So please, when we see our friends moving too fast, let us tell them the easiest thing. An engagement should go on for not less than 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months. Know this guy, know who are his parents, where do they live. Come on. If you see your friend moving too fast, excuse me, please, but do you know Wango very well? Yes. Are you sure? Do you know him? Yes. Where does he teach? University of Nairobi. Okay. What does he teach here? Do you know his parents? Yes. Where do they come from? He tells me they come from Kiabu, but I see him going to Kisii. Okay. Just Sorry, Jasmine, you are laughing instead of picking the microphone. I mean, let's see when our friend is not doing well. Slowly, then the most important, maybe let's say this one. Check the WhatsApp. Check the WhatsApp. Check when they are not updating. Check what are they writing. They are saying, I'm fed up with life. Check those things. And then, most important, that's the one I wanted to say, when they don't want anybody to know where they live or what they are doing. That is not a red flag. That is 3 red flags.
Okay, you have the signs on how to check on your friends and your people.
Allow me to add one more.
Yes. Let's listen up, guys.
If you are having a terrible day, who would you rather listen to? A friend you know, or someone random who says, "Hey, unakaa vibaya"? Who would you rather listen to?
A friend you know.
If you are having a bad day and perhaps you're feeling tired and haggard, who would you rather listen to? A friend who tells you, let's go have coffee, unakaa ni kama umechapa na life, ama just someone random tells you, unakaa vibaya kwani ni nini? Huyo wa pili. Huyo mbaya, huyo random person. Most of the time, if you're having a bad day or you're going through some things, the way to talk to a person, a relative, a friend, is to start with relationship. When Jesus met people who had gone through crazy life experiences, more than the miracle they wanted, he related to them. He looked at the woman who was caught in adultery. He'd look at the people who'd lost their loved ones. He started with relationship and then went to deal with the problem. So even as you're talking to friends, if you see that your friend is, in fishy relationships, start with relationship. Because it's easy for me and Jasmine to have a conversation about my relationship if we are friends than if we are random strangers. So begin with a relationship. Ask leading questions. How is your relationship going? What are the challenges you're facing? What you're doing is that you're offering a mirror so that your friend can see and can begin to experience for themselves and share what challenges are. Perhaps by them speaking about it, they realize, hiya, this guy is narcissistic. You don't even need to tell them. They start to talk about it and all you do is mirror. For themselves. When they pick a place and they start to discover, this could be a challenge in my life, ask another leading question. How do you want me to help you? Because then you're moving from this could be a problem to how can I help you? Now we are moving towards you've recognized there's a need and I can be able to help you. And even if they don't know how they can be helped, then you can say, fine, when you figure out how to help you, this is perhaps a way I can be there for you. I can pray for you. And then leave it at that. As Christians, we love Christian Moshene. See, Christian Moshene is tamu.
In the name of prayer.
Christian Moshene is tamu.
In the name of prayer.
Ati hey, umesikia vile Jasmine aliachwa. Oh my God, alikuwa ananiambia. We love to talk about it.
Alafu tukimaliza nasema, hebu tumuombe.
Hebu tumuombe, ikuwe prayer request. Leave it at we talked about it. Talk to God about it. Don't talk to other people about it. Talk to God about it.
Wow. That deserves a clap, right? Thank you so much, Maureen. I want us to talk about something that, people are talking about nowadays a lot, and there were so many questions about it. And fortunately for us, it's something that Maureen is so passionate about. It's childhood trauma. First of all, First of all, even before we go to the question, is there someone who's trauma-free?
No.
Okay.
Who?
All right.
Who? Did someone say Jesus? His parents lost him when he was 12.
Oh.
That's trauma for a child.
Oh.
Like you don't know this for 3 days. That's trauma. That's traumatic.
Okay, Maureen, yeah. I'd love you for us to take us through. I would love for you to take us through how does childhood trauma play into an adult's life? Because sometimes when growing up, you don't even know it's trauma. For us, you think, this is the way people should grow up. This is the way a child should grow up. How does childhood trauma reflect now in adulthood? What we do about it? Tell us how to know how it reflects, and then what do we do about it now that we know?
So childhood trauma is a very wide topic. We could spend all day here talking about it. But when you experience childhood trauma, let's talk about the four wounds. There's abandonment, there's rejection. I remember the other two and I'll share. When you experience childhood trauma, it manifests in one, your relationships. And the most important relationship, it manifests your relationship with God. When you come from a family where you have an absent dad or a messed up relationship with your caregivers, you develop trust issues. And the first person you need to trust unconditionally is who? God. So the first person you're mad at is who? And I'll tell you this because I went through a bit of trauma as a child and I didn't have a very good relationship with my dad. And for the longest time, I went to church. I was a church girl, but I couldn't call God Father. Until one day, I used to pray and say, Lord, I'd call him everything else because I knew his name. I grew up in a family where you had the thing that says God, names of God. Elion, Jirahi, Jo, Jaire, or Jire, before it became Jaira. And one day I'm praying and God asks me, why you never call me Father? And I'm like, by the way, nasijai kuita Father. Because of my mistrust for my father, I developed a mistrust for God as a father. I could relate with him in every way, but as a father, and it took me a long time to relate to God as a father because of that relationship I had with my dad. I can't say that it's completely off. Sometimes I still remember that, and when I'm relating to God the way I'd relate to my dad, he reminds me, I'm not him. And it affects our relationship with God. It affects our relationship and how we trust other people. Because you meet people with the trauma filter that perhaps this person is going to hurt me. So what do? You hold back. Perhaps you were hurt as a child, sexually abused, emotionally abused, whatever it is. What do? With trauma, we build up walls. And so you'd remember many cartoons we watched, there used to be one evil villain who lived behind many doors, that all sorts of barricades, you know. We create those barricades for our hearts and ourselves. So we never show up authentically in relationships. Even in friendships, you're and then you like, because deep down you can't be authentic. You always have the fear that perhaps if they knew who I really am, they wouldn't love me. That's how it shows up in adults. It shows up in our relationships. It shows up in our work. Say that you grew up with a dad who used to work a lot. You go to a working space and you are you're so uptight when your boss says, stay a little longer. Because you remember the effect it had on you when you were a child. If you're a PK, we usually say PKs have the worst trauma. Because they see the worst things. PKs in the house? Any PK in the house? I got to,
I had something.
For sure.
Yeah, okay. Maureen is saying something that we should take very seriously. And I'm so glad when you mentioned it. There's something we call CC, Childhood Charities. And it's important that you take them with all the seriousness that it deserves. The first thing that affects us when we are born is whether we are born with a father or a mother. In family therapy, and when I will encourage Maureen and others to study more, you study about Bowen. There are two people you should have. You should have a father and you should have a mother. The father is the authority figure. The authority figure, those of you who watch animal stories, is the lion. The lion simply roars. His way is to have authority. If you are brought up without a father, you are likely to miss on authority. And I'll say quickly how you can work it out. And that's why we say in psychology, 9 out of every 10 prisoners were brought up by a poor father. A poor father in psychology, poor, P-O-O-R, means either the father was absent or he did not care. And that's why they are in prison, because they don't respect authority. So if you're brought up without a father or a father figure, if your father was not looking for you, I pray God, you got an uncle, or you went to a school where there was a teacher or teachers who were an authority, and they taught you to be an authority. And most of all, but you know God. If you know God, then you are an authority. That's why you are seated the way you are in church. If you did not know God, you will not be seated the way you are listening to me. Because you have no regard for authority. Take that seriously. Let me go back now to the mother. The mother is the symbol of love, care, and concern. If you were brought up without a mother, then you don't know love. Unless a parent, a grandmother, or somebody brought you with a lot of love. That's why you find some men, when their wife passes on, they refuse to marry and they bring up the children so that they can give them love. If you were brought up without love, you will never love. And that's why you date boyfriends or girlfriends who will never love you, because they have never heard of the word love and or authority. This is where childhood challenges starts from. And I have tried, I do very well now with my classes, even because I even if it's a gender class or a family, I have to come back and teach this concept, because you have to get it. If you don't know authority, you will never know authority. And you, even if you are here and you are brought up without a father, you know God. That's why you are seated comfortably the way you are. And I am daring you, go and look for somebody who was brought up without a symbol of a father. They have no regard for authority or anybody who has authority, and they don't care. And that's where we are missing it. So the symbol of authority must be a father figure. The father figure, the most important is God, of course. Then maybe a teacher, maybe somebody who has been teaching you. Let me go back to the mother now. Why do people ask, how come children who are brought up by mothers alone are brought up very well? Because women are unique, with due respect. And let's clap for them once. One, why? Women know when you are a woman. Now, you may go home without listening to anything else I've said here. Next 50, 60 years, you'll be looking for this video to ask what was he saying. The mothers have the two. Mothers know love and command. Your mother will tell you, I want you to do your homework. That's a command. You must do the homework. Then she turns around and says, I love you, my son, my daughter. Two things. And she balances the two. Men rarely balance the two. That's why many people who lose out on their mother may fail to have got the love. While we are there, let me tell you something. In psychology, anybody who has done psychology will tell you, we are the first people to propose when the child is to be given to anybody, they must be given to the mother, especially at a tender age. Why? The love of a mother is very delicate. And if you are here and you are not brought up by a mother, and you are not brought up by somebody who loves you like a mother, don't ask me what you are about to ask. You need counseling. Sio kitu ya kuinua mkono, hiyo usiinue. Kuja muone Maureen na come and talk to them, because you need to learn to love. To love is not saying I love you. Love comes from the heart, and it is deep. And that's why when men turn to be men, the first person they learn to love is their mother. And if you want to know whether your boyfriend is worthy to be anybody, see the way he treats his mother. If he doesn't love his mother, forget about him. And also, if it is too much, it can be a red flag, because he may not have differentiated how to love, because he must also learn boundaries. You can see I'm with Maureen here. I'm not hugging her. I'm giving my distance. You must also learn the two. And that's why I'm very much happy that you touch on this. And that's why you find so many people are traumatized, the way you're saying. Because if you are not brought up with love, if you are brought up by toxic parents who do not care, you are already traumatized.
Vile amesema, how do we overcome it? You have to begin by acknowledging that this is something I am handling. This is something I'm dealing with.
Accept that this is a challenge you're having. Okay.
A mother wound, a father wound, whatever it is, these people who can help you to isolate your issue and find where it came from and then deal with it. You will be given certain exercises, certain tasks in therapy just to help you overcome and navigate that thing. Yani, God is able to heal you in your situation in a way that no one else can. He starts revealing things to you in the spirit that perhaps your therapist will take longer to deal with or to find. And when he tells you this issue ili happen ukiwa mtoto na hata ukujua, perhaps it's been hidden in your mind to protect you. It reminds you thing. He doesn't expose you to that thing so that you can be ashamed of it. He exposes you to it so that you see him in his light and run to his light. So even when God tells you things in the spirit that you're dealing with, that you need to deal with, don't run away. Say, okay, so hii kitu mi siwezi. God, how do we deal with this thing? And more often than not, he has done all the work at Calvary, and all you have to do is to take up the finished work of Christ.